Sharpologist.com.
You're listening to Wet Shaving Talk, powered by Sharpologist.com, where we're dedicated to preserving the art and skill of classic shaving. I'm your host, Joe Borrelli, and today is March 10th, 2025. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast, guys. First off, wanted to say big apology. We missed the last show. We had to skip it. Unfortunately, I had some last-minute stuff go on at work, and Mark had some stuff going on too, so doing a late show is just a little hard for that week. So I decided to just, move right along and go back on the schedule. So again, apologies, we did miss a show. It wasn't intentional. Wasn't planned, so that was kind of like a last-minute thing. Being in a very unpredictable business as myself, sometimes when I'm working, some things can come up. One week everything's normal. Next week, everything's changed. So it's kind of like one of those situations. But we are back on the schedule, back to normal, and hopefully that won't happen too many times this year. But it may. I guess could tell you a lot's been changing in the industry. With the tariffs and stuff, especially in the alcohol business. So if you wanted to know a little bit of insight or a little first-hand information, just letting you know, not much is going to change as of right now in that business. But for a consumer point, a lot of people are panic buying and doing and kind of overbuying and stuff. So it's kind of may create a few shortages in stores if you go in there, if you're looking for certain items from Mexico or Canada. And you might actually see some of your favorite items out of stock, but it shouldn't be too long, and it's definitely not a supplier issue. There's plenty of it out there. It's just higher than usual demand recently. So that's for a little bit of a deviation from wet shaving, but I know a lot of people, I do actually get some emails here and there about that, about alcohol and wine and stuff like that. And you know what, guys, if you have those questions, always feel free to email me. I don't mind answering them. I've been doing it for a very long time, and I usually can just shoot right from the hip from that. And I know right from the top of my head most of the answers a lot of people have. If not, I can easily find the answer. So, today on the show, we've got several things going on in the wet shaving world that I thought were very interesting to discuss, and I really did a lot of thinking about some different type of subject or different type of content for the podcast. So I wanted to start off with, I ordered a gold dollar razor, which is a straight razor, and I'm entering the mod contest over at Badger and Blade for 2025. I'll get a little bit more detail with that when we get into the show and what my plans are and how I'm going to blog it. And if you guys wanted to show support or have any questions or have any suggestions, definitely feel free to contact me on that one. Razor Emporium announces on their last meetup that they acquired Yates razors, Yates Manufacturing. So that's really big news, a very interesting story on that, and didn't see that one coming. And then we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And Williams Mug Shave Soap for $50. Is it worth it? And then a little bit on the update on tariffs for Canada and how it will affect your shave. So without further ado, guys, let's get on with the show. So I just mentioned it in the beginning of the podcast, gold dollar razors. These are very inexpensive straight razors that come from China, right? And they're actually something that are made with decent steel, and you can actually shave with these razors if they're modified. Okay, I've modified about 3 or 4 of them in my time of being a straight razor shaver. And I found that every single one of them that I used, I was able to get shave worthy, and I still have one left that I still own, which is in the show notes, the picture. And it shaves beautifully. I mean, it is sharp. It gets sharp. They use a double tempered or ultra, like, it's like ultra hollow ground. Like, it is hollow ground, like full hollow, but it's like it's extreme. And if you like grind the shoulders off on them a little bit and even it out, these things can be shave worthy. I'm telling you, the steel is good enough to be shave worthy. Sometimes you'll have to remove the edge on it and then redo your own edge. It's called so basically take it on a stone and actually grind. It's called butter knifing, and take off the entire bevel and everything and start new and basically regrind this, which I did with a couple of them, and they will shave well. So every year for the last 10 years or so, Badger Blade has had a gold dollar mod contest, and the winner gets a prize. It's not anything big. I think last year they got a strop. The year before that they got like a brush or something like that. But you get bragging rights, which I think is probably cooler. And in previous years, I've purchased one, and I still have one of mine left that I've etched and done all that. But I never really entered the contest. I've done it on my own. I've been inspired by the contest, but I never entered it. So I've decided to enter the contest, and I'm going to submit something special this year. And I have a few plans on what I'm going to do. Nothing too crazy. Nothing that is not traditional. I mean, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not that skilled, but I'm going to try my best to enter the contest, and I will document the journey on my blog. So I plan on doing that. If you guys want to see support, it's at shavestraightandsafe.com. I'm going to document it. I will do weekly updates starting in May. I do want to stick strict to the actual time restraints they have. So it's from May till, I think, July. And they give you that amount of time to do it before you submit your razor, and then you can do multiple submissions as well. So I'm going to do one. I bought the razor already. I have it. And I plan on doing one. And then if I have enough time, maybe I'll get another one. Now, these razors are, again, to get a gold dollar razor, some people get them online. They get them for like $4 or $5. I got it on Amazon for like $10 just because I didn't want to wait for it to come from China and all that stuff with everything going on. So I got it. So I have it here. It's ready to go. I'm going to buy some scale material to go with it. I'm going to try and make the scales myself too. So wish me luck. And if you're interested in following the progress on this, it'll start in May. And I will definitely have it on the show as well. So you'll be able to see it and see the actual like updates and all that stuff, the progression of this razor. It takes a while, and I will use a little bit of my free time here and there to do it, so it will take me probably a month or two, but I promise you I will definitely do a good job. And if you have any support, any good words of wisdom for me, any advice, please go ahead and send it to me in email. So a big announcement at the Razor Emporium meetup last month was that they acquired Yates Shaving, or Yates Manufacturing, Yates Precision Manufacturing, which is a CNC machine based razor maker, right? Razor producer. And they've been making razors for several years now. I think I actually never purchased the Yates. I was meaning to, and I remember seeing it because they used to. A couple of their concepts are really good. I think they had a razor with carbon fiber and stainless steel, which I thought was really cool. This is a while ago, but they had that, and I don't think they produce that one anymore. But they have several razors, and they do that. And Razor Emporium basically is acquired their company and their CNC machines. So they are going to do CNC machine razors from their own facility, which is great because, Razor Emporium, they've been around for a while now. Matt started his company outside of his garage at his house fixing Gillette adjustable razors. That was his hobby, that was his passion, and then he just kind of moved on from that. They started Razor Emporium. They started Rex Razors, or Rex Emporium, which is the company that makes razors. So he's going to make his own razors now. But what really helps out with this is that with the CNC machines, he'll be able to make more parts for vintage razors that otherwise were never going to happen. So example, Matt came out with the spring that goes into the click spring that you see in the middle of an adjustable Gillette razor. Prior to him being able to make that part, you lose it. That's it. You lost it. That's you're in trouble. You have to find a donor razor to try to find some extra parts. Not that there's not a surplus of razors out there, but we've got to remember, guys, these things haven't been made in almost 60 years, right? The Gillette Fat Boy was starting in 1959 and ended in the mid 60s. That's not that long amount of time, and that's a long time ago. So eventually, every year we're losing some of these permanently, right? Somebody loses it, they break it, they throw it away in the garbage. It's not around anymore, right? So every year we lose a few, if not more. Fat Boys and all those, right? Just using that as an example. He's got the ability now to make parts for those razors if you break them. So if you break the spring, you can actually purchase a spring. Now with these, I think he'll make his own razors, but also he'll be able to say, hey, if something is needed, I think with the 3D printing and that technology, and now with CNC machining, they'll have the ability to fix it. So maybe they can even make a replica razor with that machine. Who knows? And we will be able to preserve our Gillettes, vintage razors, and have new razors forever and ever. I mean, that'd be awesome. So really excited to see what they do with this. I know they started with a few things, a few razors. They did a nice presentation of building a razor at that show, and did like a mock razor and showed everybody how they do it. So very excited to see how much what this brings in the future for Razor Emporium and for what they are going to do with the wet shaving world. So it's very exciting to see that they're still innovating and still building their business. So congrats to Razor Emporium for acquiring Yates, and Yates, congrats for not just shutting down and actually selling your business and keeping it preserved for future generations to come. Williams soap, $50. Is it worth it? So we all know that Williams mug soap, around since 1840, went out of business in about 2023, I think, or 2022, right? It's gone. They don't make it anymore. It was a lot of rumors going back and forth that it was. I personally bought 10 pucks about 5 years ago when I heard it. Kept on seeing it made, so I went and gave them away. I have like one left, and then realized that, hey, they're gone now. And now they're selling for around $50 on Amazon, eBay, etc. Is it worth $50 to get this soap as a wet shaver? And why do we see so many vendors closing in this year when wet shaving is probably got the most hobbyist members of all time? Like, why would we see Williams Shave Soap leave the industry when we have the most ever? And then in the 90s and the 80s, there was hardly anybody even talking about wet shaving, and it was in probably its lowest, and they were in business up until then. So this is a question that I ask myself. I really was thinking about it. And it's going to take the bulk of, it took the bulk of my time for the last few days thinking about, how can these companies shut down when we have so many people purchasing and it's so easy to purchase? Back in the day, Williams Shave Soap was only purchased really at a drugstore or grocery store, right? It was at every drugstore, every grocery store. You can find it easily. And it was usually for around $1. How does that go? How does that not happen anymore? Like, how do we just not go out of business like that? Now with Amazon stuff, you can buy it online easily, and really broadening the audience. And with wet shavers being, really in record numbers, right? Badger and Blade has record numbers, record people talking. There's record artisans out there. Think about it. If you've been around for wet shaving for 10 or 15 years, what has changed in the last 10, 15 years? I've been wet shaving since 2010, I believe. And I can tell you there was only like 3 vendors back then, like artisans. Everything else was Williams Soap or Vanderhagen, which also the regular Vanderhagen's no longer made. All these other items. Those are the only things you can get if you wanted to go to the store and actually pick it up. Now there's really nothing, and it's weird that we're doing so much in wet shaving, but it's just not enough to keep some of these companies going. So really, the answer I think to this question is, and my thoughts on it are, it's cost. Cost of production has gone up tremendously. The last few years it's been challenging, right? There's been a lot of inflation, all this stuff going back and forth, political things, everything. The market makes it difficult to make money. So to make a Williams Shave Soap maybe $1 5 years ago, maybe it's $3 now, which is still very affordable in the wet shaving world, and I wouldn't mind paying $3 for something like that, right? Also, it lost national distribution in stores. Like, I remember grocery stores, Walgreens and stuff, they started dropping items. First one I noticed was Vanderhagen. I could tell you that when I first started wet shaving, I was able to buy Vanderhagen brushes and soap at the grocery store, right? Publix grocery stores here are very big in Florida. They had them. Walgreens had them. CVS had them. All those places had them. and they had them regularly, and they were on the shelf, and they probably didn't move much, but they were still there, part of planograms, and you could still the managers could order it and get it in. I saw that stop. So the national distribution stopped, and that's probably where they did bulk of their business. Because think about it, if they sell one case every 2 months to 3,000 or 4,000 stores, how much business does that do? How many cases? That's 4,000 cases, right? If you look at a company chain like Albertsons that was all over, I worked for Albertsons for 10 years, so I know. We had this in our set, and it was every store in the country had it in their set. And there's 2,500 stores, and say each store sells 2 cases a year at minimum, right? That's still 4,000 cases. You're talking 12, whatever, thousands of soaps. When you lose those contracts and those stores don't no longer carry it, that's the bulk of their business, even if it's not selling like hotcakes, as they say, right? So I think that's one of the reasons, just distribution stopped. Also, I think, I think just there's so many options out there for wet shavers. Like, we're not really going for Williams soap anymore. I mean, when was the last time I bought Williams soap? I bought it when I first started, and I couldn't really find anything. I bought that and Vanderhagen soap from the grocery store and used it. And then when the artisans started coming back up, I started buying mostly from them. And I could tell you, I never really bought a Williams shave soap again. I bought 10 pucks when I saw that they were going out of business, and I started just giving them away because I didn't want them to go bad. So I kept 1 or 2 left, and that's kind of the extent of it. So I think that's one of the reasons as well. But I'd say the main reason is just getting expensive to make, and for the companies doing it to distribute it without those national accounts, there's really no point in probably doing it anymore. If it's just selling from Amazon, I can't see them selling that many of it. I can't see it selling that crazy. So correct me if I'm wrong. If you guys know any more about the industry or have any insider on that, I'm definitely open to some more comments on it. But it looks like Williams Shave Soap is gone. If you want one, it's going to be in the $30 to $50 range. And to answer the original question, is it worth $50? Well, no. The quality of the soap is definitely not worth $50. We'll be honest here with that. Williams Shave Soap was also got a lot of controversy in the forums. If you go and Google the Williams Shave Soap and you go into a wet shaving forum such as Badger and Blade or Straight Razor Place or the Shave Den or something like that, you'll see every single post of people saying, "Oh, I can't get Williams to do this. Oh, I did this to Williams to get it to do that." Overall, Williams was a decent soap. It does work. It's not worth $50, but for the nostalgia and the ability to own one today, if you're just starting and you wanted something for your collection and you have a little disposable income, then yeah, sure. It's worth as much as it is to you, which makes you happy and will make you your shaves great, but they won't do anything special for you for $50. So that's my take on it. If you got any thoughts or questions, or if you have any comments you would like to add to it, just email me at joe.wetshavingnews@gmail.com. And we have an update to the tariffs coming out of Canada and how it will affect your shave if you like Canadian products. So as of right now, guys, the tariff will not affect goods being purchased directly from Canada under $800 in value. So if you're going to buy a razor from local razor company that you've been looking at over there, unless you're going to get a really expensive like Wolfman razor, which is coming from Canada, it really will not affect you. So if it's under $800 in worth and value and cost, you will not be affected by the tariff. Nothing else will change. So we saw a couple companies that said they were not going to produce and take American orders, have now rescinded that, and they are taking American orders. So no worries in there about demand. So our Canadian products will be available, and it should be same business as usual as of right now for us as well. So exciting to see that. Really happy to be able to help our Canadian friends to the north and know that we could still purchase from them and they can still sell to us without any further increases in cost or anything like that. Well, guys, that concludes the show for this week. Again, I apologize for skipping a show. I always hate doing that, and it just makes it so I just puts me behind, and I feel like I sometimes disappoint you guys, but fortunately things happen. So Hopefully it won't happen too much. I am working on the Instagram page. It is actually live if you want to take a look at it. I did not post it this week because I don't have it set up the way I want to yet, but it's going to be the Wet Shaving Talk podcast account. So it is live now, but it will be, I guess I'll perfect it and get it all ready and be able to post regularly on it in the next few weeks. So that's my next goal. So when I have that set and ready to go, that'll be the area for news. So if something's happening, if I'm delayed or anything like that, I'll post it there on the Instagram account so you guys can easily get it and be able to get the news quickly. And I also post like little things during the week if I see stuff or stuff or little, like, I guess, some teasers for the show coming up. At least that's my plan as of right now. So hopefully that will work out as well too. Remember, our show is powered by Sharpologist.com, which your father didn't teach you about shaving. Special thanks to Mark Mantic59 for everything that he does for the shaving community, and most of all, you guys, the listeners, because without you, there'd be no podcast. Don't forget to check out my blog at shavestraightandsafe.com for interesting wet shaving stories and content, and also feel free to email me at any time at joe.wetshavingnews@gmail.com. All right, guys, until the 24th of this month, March, shave straight and shave safe. Bye-bye now.